Welcome to the deep dive. Paris, the city of light. It sounds amazing, but well, how do you really get under its skin in just 4 days? You've brought us this itinerary, and it looks, well, fascinating. It claims you can have this incredibly deep, immersive experience, even on a tight schedule. Okay, so let's dive into this. This isn't just, a checklist of sites. It feels more like a strategy guide. It's aiming for specific goals. It talks about elegance, history, romance, sure, but also getting truly immersed, like in the culture, the food, leaving with a real sense of the place.
Yeah, what's really interesting is how clear that mission is. It's structured, so you definitely hit at least 5 big icons, the Eiffel Tower, Louvre, Notre Dame, Arc de Triomphe, Sacré-Cœur, but it also makes sure you explore those really distinct neighborhoods, like Saint-Germain-des-Prés, Le Marais, Montmartre. Oh, and that Santa Boat Ride Quay for a different perspective. It's about mixing the grand scale with the more intimate feel.
That really paints a picture of what it's trying to do. It sounds quite thoughtfully put together. So if we want to pull out the absolute essentials from this, the things that'll really maximize the experience and, help avoid those typical travel headaches, where does it start with the practical stuff, the game changers?
Right. Before you even get to day one, the source lays out some foundational tips, absolute must-knows.
First up.
Getting around. The metro network. Excellent. Unparalleled, really. It suggests getting a car net that's 10 tickets or maybe a daily or weekly pass, depending on your plans.
Okay, transportation, crucial. And here's something you flagged that sounds really important, like non-negotiable level important. Advance online reservations. It says for the big hitters, Eiffel Tower, Louvre, Versailles, maybe even shows booking way ahead isn't just nice, it's essential. It can literally save you hours of queuing. That sounds like a total game changer.
It absolutely is. Yeah. And, it makes you think, why is this so critical? It's not just saving time, though that's huge. It's also about managing your energy.
Yeah.
For really packed days. Walking everywhere can be, exhausting. So cutting down wait times, that helps avoid that sightseeing fatigue the source mentions.
Yeah.
And kind of related, obviously, comfortable shoes. Definitely non-negotiable.
Makes sense. And it also throws in a little reminder about, basic city smarts. Like any big, busy city, keep an eye on your belongings, maybe use a crossbody bag. Just sensible stuff that helps you relax and enjoy the trip without worry. Peace of mind, really. Okay, let's get into the itinerary itself. Day 1. It seems like it's all about making a grand entrance, right? Big architecture, amazing views then. Art, kicking off the morning at the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, and from the top of the Arc, it's undeniably one of the best panoramic views. You see the Champs-Élysées stretching out, the Eiffel Tower over there. It really sets the stage. But here's a little nugget from the source. Maybe think about going at dusk. You get the city lights coming on. Plus, sometimes the crowds thin out a bit then. Could be surprisingly peaceful for such an iconic spot.
Oh, that's a smart angle on the timing. Then, okay, a walk down the Champs-Élysées itself towards Place de la Concorde. Impressive. And after grabbing some lunch, the afternoon shifts. It's Louvre time.
Right, the Louvre. And the advice here is smart. Focus. Don't try to see everything. Pick the icons. Mona Lisa, Venus de Milo, Winged Victory planned for maybe 3-4 hours. But the real key, that pre-booked reserve entry, it's paramount. Avoids those massive lines. And maybe, tackle those keywords first. Or even start in a slightly less busy wing to ease into it. Makes those hours feel more manageable, more rewarding.
That sounds like a much saner way to approach the Louvre. Okay, and after all that art immersion, you can wander through the Tuileries Garden, which is right there. Nice way to decompress, connects the Louvre back towards Place de la Concorde.
Exactly. And to wrap up day 1, the itinerary suggests dinner near the Seine Quays, maybe a bit early, followed by that boat ride on the river. It's not just like a tourist cruise. It gives you this constantly shifting, magical view of the monuments all lit up. Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, Pont Neuf. You see the city transform at night. It's a beautiful visual summary of the day.
Moving on to day 2, and we hit the big one, Paris's most famous icon. Morning starts at Trocadero Plaza. That's for the classic Eiffel Tower photos, right? Probably best early before it gets too packed.
Definitely. Then it's time to actually go up the Iron Lady. And source is really emphatic here. Book those Eiffel Tower tickets months ahead, especially for the summit. This is one place where trying to be spontaneous will cost you serious time. But those 360 views, unparalleled. Afterwards, a walk through the Champ de Mars at the base is a nice way to come back down to earth, literally.
Good point about booking months ahead for that one. Lunch is suggested nearby, an authentic bistro in the 7th district, keeps things flowing. Then the afternoon takes a turn towards history and, more incredible art.
You'll visit Les Invalides first. That houses Napoleon's tomb, which is just majestic. And the Army Museum. It's impressive, the scale of it all. And what's interesting is the contrast with the next stop, the Musée d'Orsay, which is also stunning, but in a totally different way.
Ah, the Orsay, and that amazing old train station building, incredible Impressionist and Post-Impressionist collection, right? Monet, Van Gogh, Renoir. And the building itself is part of the experience, that huge clock window overlooking the Seine. Wow.
Absolutely. And as day 2 winds down, the itinerary points you towards Saint-Germain-des-Prés, the intellectual, chic neighborhood. It's not just about finding dinner here, it's about soaking up the history. This is where Sartre, the Beauvoir, all those figures used to hang out. So visiting Café de Flore or Les de Magot, it's kind of like stepping into that history, experiencing the bohemian vibe that still lingers before finding a nice spot for an elegant dinner.
Okay, day 3. This sounds like it goes right to the origins of Paris, Ile de la Cité. The island where it all started. Feels like stepping back in time.
Totally. And a major highlight here is Sainte-Chapelle. Those stained glass windows,
Yeah.
they're just breathtaking. They surround you. Again, the source notes, book tickets ahead. It's small, gets very popular. And you'll also see the outside of Notre Dame, of course. See the reconstruction work. It's quite powerful, actually, seeing his resilience.
And if it happens to be a weekend, there's the flower and bird market nearby, too. Adds a bit of local flavor. For lunch, the Latin Quarter sounds perfect. Maybe grab a crepe. Or find a classic French bistro.
Yeah, the Latin Quarter is great for that. The afternoon is spent exploring it more. You've got the famous Shakespeare and Company bookstore, always worth a browse. Then the Pantheon, which is pretty imposing, where figures like Marie Curie and Victor Hugo are buried. And then for a breather, the Luxembourg Gardens. Beautiful spot to relax. It's a nice mix, that afternoon history, books, nature.
From the Latin Quarter, it's on to Le Marais. That sounds charming. Strolling through Place des Vosges, Paris's oldest planned square, right? Gorgeous architecture. And then just getting lost in those streets. Sounds like fun. Galleries, boutiques, bakeries.
Le Marais is fantastic for wandering. And for dinner, yeah, tons of options. Great bars, too. The itinerary even gives a really specific tip. Trying the falafel on Rue des Rosiers. It's kind of legendary there. It's more than just street food. It's like a little cultural experience, a local favorite. Really brings that neighborhood to life.
Right, the final day, day 4. And the itinerary offers a choice here, which is smart. People might have different interests or maybe different energy levels by now.
Exactly. Option A keeps you in Paris, heading up to Montmartre, that artistic bohemian hill. You'd start by climbing up or taking the funicular to Sacré-Cœur Basilica. Stunning building, and the views from the front steps. Wow, across the whole city.
Yeah.
The source definitely flags this as a top viewpoint.
And then, yeah, getting immersed in Montmartre itself, Place du Tertre with all the artists painting, finding the Wall of Je t'aime, the I love you wall, that sounds sweet, and seeing the Moulin Rouge from the outside, of course.
After lunch up there, another choice within Option A. You could dive into modern art at the Centre Pompidou, that very distinctive inside-out building. Or go for sculpture at the Musée Rodin. See the thinker in the gardens. Or, and this is interesting, hit the big department stores, Galeries, Lafayette, and Printemps. Not just for shopping, but to see those amazing glass domes. And the rooftop terraces have surprisingly great views, too.
Okay, so that's option A, staying in Paris. Option B is the big day trip, Versailles. Taking the RERC train out there, about 45 minutes, you said. The RER, being the regional express train network, gets you outside the city center.
That's right. And yeah, Versailles is a full-day commitment. Exploring the palace, it's just pure opulence. The royal apartments, the Hall of Mirrors, incredible. Maybe the chapel and opera if there's time. But, and the source really hammers this home, the book tickets well in advance and get there early. The crowds at Versailles can be absolutely massive. It's crucial for managing your day.
Right, can't stress that enough for Versailles. And then there are the gardens. Huge, meticulously designed, masterpiece of landscaping. The itinerary even suggests maybe renting a golf cart or using the mini train.
Yeah, to see the Grand Trianon, Petit Trianon, Marie Antoinette's Hamlet.
Yeah.
The grounds are so vast. Those options make sense if you want to cover more ground without exhausting yourself.
So, whichever option you picked for day 4, you'd head back to Paris for a final farewell dinner. Time to reflect on everything you've packed in.
Exactly. It's been a whirlwind, but a carefully curated one.
So, wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway? This deep dive into the 4-day plan, it really suggests you can get that essence of Paris even quickly. It seems to be about that mix the icons, yes, but also strategic local immersion, the culture, the food.
Yeah, I think if you look at the bigger picture, the success of a trip like this really hinges on that strategic planning and understanding the challenges. This source isn't just a list of places. It highlights managing time. Those advanced bookings are key. but also dealing with crowds, even just acknowledging you might get tired. Planning for that makes the whole experience smoother, more enjoyable.
From those huge views at the Eiffel Tower down to a cozy cafe in Saint-Germain,
Mm.
or the massive Louvre to the, winding streets of Montmartre, each day really does seem to offer a different slice of the city. Feels like you'd leave not just with photos, but with a real sense of having lived Paris a little, breathed it in.
Absolutely. Which I suppose leads to a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Paris isn't known for being cheap, right? So thinking about this packed itinerary, how might you prioritize? Maybe splurge on one incredible meal but go simpler on others, or pick certain paid attractions over others. How could you tailor this kind of immersive plan to fit your own budget without losing that deep sense of Parisian magic the itinerary promises?